Hey everybody, you ready for a late July garden update? Here it comes. All right, so we're gonna start our tour over here at our cantaloupe patch. And me and Marcy were just kind of looking at it, and we have got some cantaloupes cooking. We got some teeny ones like this one right here, and this one up here. But we found one hidden in behind the okra patch here. Boom! God, that's a cantaloupe. So we have a lot of those little ones, but that's probably the biggest one that we have. So this is only from 2 plants, and it is going crazy. This last weekend I had to come tie it up and try to get it to come up and over the trellis because it was just going all over the place. So, and right beside it, the okra is looking fantastic. Compared these okra plants to our okra plants that we planted probably 3 weeks before, I would say. These things are just going dynamite. Actually, I need to actually pick some okra over here in a little, probably tomorrow. But these things are growing tall. They have some thick stalks on them, and there's just tons of okra ready to pop on these things. So for those that are out there in the Sampson Farm Challenge, watch out, we're coming for you. My only concern is if I can get these things small enough to fit through one of these openings at one point. I don't know. We'll have to maybe figure something out on that. But Mark, I know you were wondering, so Mark from over in Bumblebee Junction, if you guys haven't seen his channel, go over there and support him. He's been sick recently and haven't been able to produce some videos. Go over there and watch their videos. Tell them that Rock and See sent you over there. Watch some of their playlists. They have some great gardening videos. I know we've gained a lot of inspiration and they've helped us out a lot. So go check them out, but I'm telling you, I think the okra is doing awesome over here. So unfortunately, our squash and zucchini bed doesn't look all that great. You know, we've been battling the squash bugs. Actually, I see one of the little boogers right now. The mildewy thing, and some of the leaves are just kind of dying out. And man, at this point, I think we just may actually pull this up and just get ready for a fall planting in here. So our cucumbers, they are starting to start firing off. We got our first plant we planted was doing really good. We've already got 2 or 3 off of it. We got to pick a couple more. And then over here, which we planted just about a month ago or so, I'll leave that video up on an iCarter at the end. But we're starting to see pickles start popping on these things. You can see they're getting tall, leaning over, and have to do a little bit of trellis work on those. But they are doing really, really good. Hopefully we'll have a good harvest so we can do some pickles and some other things with the cucumbers. Now the okra that we planted, I mean, we had five plants come up. They're doing okay. This isn't the best soil that we planted in, so they're just not growing nearly as well as the other plants. And even the ones we bought as seedlings, or not seedlings, but as little plants, whatever you want to call them, they're growing, and they're growing some huge okra. Probably should have picked that a little bit before now, but they're not doing near as good as what the ones doing in the raised bed. So I think that's just a testimony of how the soil is here compared to our super soil that we put into the raised beds and that growing system. It's working really good. The watermelons, they're not doing so good. We had some come up. They got about, about tennis ball size, and they've kind of petered out. So not quite for sure. I mean, they're still growing, but not put on a lot of watermelons, and we just don't know what to expect for those. So these are our first set of peppers that we have here. These are bell peppers, and those are banana peppers. And the plants aren't looking all that great, to be honest with you. They are producing some fruit. Everything's kind of turning yellow over here, so we don't know if we're giving it too much water, they're getting too much sun. So if you guys can leave some comments down below, what could be causing our peppers to turn yellow, we'd really appreciate that, because these are not looking very healthy. Now over here, the tomato terrace, a lot of work needs to be done with this. We have a lot of limbs that are hanging over, some are getting bent. I have a plan, I'm gonna do a video on this thing, but this thing has definitely outgrown the cattle panel trellis we put up for it. So look for an upcoming video on what we're gonna do to get this thing fixed up and try to secure it in and position it a little better. This tomato plant over here is the same thing. It's looking kind of ragged at this point, but it's producing a ton of tomatoes. Just need to get out here and harvest some of them. But overall, it looks pretty good, other than some of these leaves and stuff at the bottom. Not for sure what's going on with that, but I'll do some trimming and cutting. Now these little pepper plants over here, these are looking pretty good. Our shishito peppers are loving it over here. We got a ton of little peppers growing. So I think that plant's looking really, really well. The little the hot banana pepper's not looking all that great. These are looking a little bit better. We have this one back here, and it has like 3 big old peppers growing on it. So that thing is rocking it out. Some of the other banana peppers around it, not looking that great again. If you guys know what could be causing that to turn yellow, the leaves and everything, it'd be great. Be great to have some comments to see what that may be. That'd be very helpful. Hey guys, so we just noticed this while we're walking by. This is on the back of our okra. And if you look down here, Marcy, you see it down there?
Yep.
We don't know what these little things are, but they seem alive. I don't know if they're little flies or gnats or what those are. And we have a ton of ants on this stuff. So yeah, what are those things? You guys know? And is the ants a detriment to the plants? Is that something that we can spray something on to help out? I don't know. See, this is where a new gardener struggles. When you start seeing this and you start seeing little things on your plants like this, it almost looks like some of that mildew stuff is over here. But you know, some of this stuff you just don't know if it's, is it normal? Is it something that can stay on the plant? Is it detrimental to the plant like the ants? Or is it something that you need to try to eradicate? So, hey, would love your advice. So over here in our main tomato bed, and this is of course one side of the trellis, and I just cannot say this enough, how cool it is to see tomatoes all the way up above me, and some are ripe all the way up here and all the way down the side. I mean, that's just so cool. And then there's, you know, above here, the plants are trying to grow up a couple feet even taller that I'm gonna have to kind of stake down a little bit, or they're gonna get all floppy and break whenever we get our next storm in. But you know, the tomatoes seem to be doing really good. We have a lot of new blooms on. Looks like they're putting on fruit. And so far, I've already froze about 2.5 gallons worth of tomatoes for some future canning projects. But I'd say our tomatoes are doing really, really well. And actually, I accidentally dug up a couple carrots last week when I was doing some watering. And we actually had little baby carrots on it. So I think the carrots are doing good underneath there. We'll see if we planted them too close together, but you know, they're not getting super huge, but they do seem to be growing, and we are definitely seeing carrots. So if you remember, this was our broccoli bed and our onions. We've pulled all that up and pretty much don't have anything in here, but I did buy 2 new tomato plants. One is called a Big Beef and one's a Roma. So this is a indeterminate tomato. So this is going to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. And this is a determinate tomato, so it should only grow a certain amount, fruit, and be done. We put them back both over here so we have room to do some fall gardening over here. And I think this is going to be our lettuce bed, lettuce and spinach. And Marcia and I were talking before we came out here about what do we think we want to do for fall gardening. And I think for sure we're going to plant some lettuces, some different types of lettuce, some spinach, and some peas. So we're trying to decide if we're just going to direct sow it, try to do seedlings, those kind of things. We're kind of working that out now, but this is definitely going to be used for spinach and lettuce. And now since we're thinking maybe behind us that bed is going to be open, that kind of frees up some space. You know, a couple of the things that we were kind of faced with was, you know, our tomatoes are doing good. They may not be done now, so we're not going to be able to use that space for any other kind of planting. And our cucumbers and our okra are going to be good for a while. So these are really the spaces that we got to work with. So I think that's what we're going to go with at this point.
So here we are up at the top end of the garden. This is the little small raised beds up by the house. And what we have planted on this end is watermelon. Although I have to tell you, it started out going like gangbusters, but it's not looking amazing right now. The leaves have got something on them. I'm not sure what that's all about, but it doesn't look like it's good. So we'll probably try to come and spray, although I'm not sure it'll help at this point. We do have a couple of sizable watermelons trying to grow. I mean, they've got a long ways to go, and I'm not sure how much more growth we're going to see off them. They've stalled out a little bit, so we may be out of luck for watermelon, but I mean, we're going to give that a little bit more time because we're not quitters. Now our herb beds, we've recently harvested from all of them, I think, just about all of them. And they have already grown surprisingly well back. You've seen some of our long-term and short-term storage of herbs. Well, that's what we've done here. We've harvested them and we've stored them. So we've got our chives, our lavender, our curry plant. You can see we harvested the chives quite a bit, but they're already making a good comeback. Here we've got sage and thyme, and we harvested a lot of this sage that's here in the center. But already, again, it's kind of making a good comeback. So we'll give it till the end of the season, and then we'll probably clear all of this out and start again with this particular bed. Then we've got our 4 potted, little single potted plants here. We've got the spearmint. We harvested this one way back because it wasn't looking tremendously well. But it's got already some really good new growth coming back, so I think it's going to be good. This is our stevia plant. Then we have our basil plant in the back. That thing we cut way back because it was not looking good, but look at the comeback it's made. It's doing just fine. Also cut back the chocolate mint, but you can see also doing great. Then up here in this bed, this is where we had our onions and our garlic. And I believe what we're going to do up here is plant some peas. Yeah, peas. That's what we're planning to do up here. So we'll get this all ready to go, and I think we'll direct sow some peas into this. And if we need to put a trellis over it, we can do that. Not 100% sure yet. We've not done peas before, so we'll give it a try and see what happens. And then we've got, of course, these 3 herbs that are on the fence. We've got our lemon balm, which we've harvested, and it's already has quite a bit of new growth. We've got oregano, same, and rosemary. We haven't harvested that one quite as heavily, but we need to. And these are the little ones that hang on the fence, and they have the little holes in the bottom where you can fill up the water. And I think we have little frogs living in all 3 of these, because when we start shooting the water in the hole, those little frogs come popping out. Scared the dickens out of me the first time, but now it's kind of fun to see their little heads pop out. So that's the garden tour for late July. It's almost the end of July, and that's where we're at. Some things are going great and still going strong. Some of the new stuff we've planted is looking pretty good, and some of it not so good. And of course, the squash and zucchini. We're pulling that stuff out.
And do you guys have any recommendations of how to treat the soil so you can kill off anything that may be in there as squash bugs and those kind of things? Is there anything we should try to do with that dirt and the mulch in there to try to reclaim it from them?
Yeah.
So guys, thanks for coming back watching. We do really appreciate it, especially if you made it this far. Of course, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, there'll be a little button down there. Click that, ring the bell. You know that. You know the routine. But and if you haven't already, caught us on Facebook or Instagram. There'll be a description down below. The links will be in the description down below. And from our homestead to yours, have a blessed day, and we'll catch you on the next video. Bye.
Bye.